What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today what I got for you guys are the best Black Ops 6 settings that you need to be rocking. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna section off the video into every single category of settings that I showcase, so that way if there's a particular set that you want to look at, you can feel free to skip to that part. But let's go ahead and let's get into it. So the first one that we have is for mouse and keyboard. It says right here the input device. I have it on controller, so I can't really help you guys out with this, but if you are on keyboard and mouse, you just set it to mouse, and then you set your sensitivity and all the other stuff. You set up your key binds, and all that is preference based, so you'll just have to pretty much put what you prefer. But what will impact everything is going to be the actual movement category. So this is where we get into the omni movement and all that stuff. The very first setting is going to ask you for the sprint assist. I think by default it's set to off. I put it to tactical sprint assist. This way it's automatically going to start you off at a tactical sprint, and you don't have to spam your L3. And if you spam your L stick a lot, then that could cause stick drift, and then overall just wear and tear on your controller, and you want to sort of save that. But what I put the sprint assist delay on is at 0. It's by default at like 400, and that will sort of wait 400 milliseconds before you are able to start actually sprinting, and I don't want that delay. But you can set the delay however you like. And then I put the sprint assist sideways on as well as the backwards on, so that way it does it as well for every single direction. And then for the mantle assist, I put that at off. I tried to test it out. If you get into an area where you want to head glitch it, it'll automatically mantle you up, and that will cause a lot of problems for you overall. So I just set all this to off, and then mantle cancels reload. I guess that's by default at on, but yeah, that's the settings that I have for that one. But going on to the crouch assist, I have this one to off. Crouching behavior, put it to toggle. All this is toggle. A lot of this carried over from Modern Warfare 3, and my MW3 Warzone settings are pretty decent, but I have the automatic airborne mantle at on, and then everything else here at off, and this is everything you need to know for the movement page. Now for the next setting is the combat page. It says ADS sight behavior. I have that at hold, and then the interact behavior, I have it to press. Equipment behavior on hold. Weapon mount activation, the weapon mount toggle, and there's all these different settings that you could put on, but this one it just works the best. For combat advanced settings, I didn't really adjust these all too much, but I put change zoom activation to melee, weapon mount exit to short delay, interact reload behavior, tap to reload, and then focus behavior on hold. This one is like more of the Warzone one that I really like, because I prefer tapping on reload instead of actually picking up something or interacting. That sort of causes a whole issue with that. But then you have sprint cancels reload. I have that set to off. And then dedicated melee behavior, hold the melee weapon. And these are just all the settings that I have for the advanced section of the combat area. And then going down, you got mode specific overlays. I didn't really touch this one at all. And then the danger ping, double tap. But going on to now jumping into the controller settings, the button layout that I have, I set it to default. I believe you can change it to anything you want. So tactical is a lot of people's favorite. You can set it to that. They do carry over from MW3. So if you like your current controller settings, you can keep that. What I do is I have it at default, and then stick layout preset also at default. I don't really change anything all too much when it comes to the controller. But the horizontal stick sensitivity, I have that at 17. I usually play at 16. For some reason, when it carried over from MW3, it actually raised the sensitivity by 1, but I tested it out and it's actually pretty good. And then the vertical stick, I have that at 13. So I much value the movement, so I want to try to move around, be as quick as possible, be able to flick on people. You can obviously lower this to whatever setting you feel is right, but I would raise it just a little bit for Black Ops 6. Now, simplified controls, I have that set to off. If you set it to on, it'll do a lot of the aim assist, not aim assist, but the controller assist stuff that they mentioned throughout the direct. So it'll, like, right there, you have it, it'll do the mantle assist on, it'll turn all these other things on, and I really don't want that. But then you have the low motor strain, I have that to off. Bumper ping, set that to off. Swapping these all off. And then controller vibration, that's preference. You can have it on or off, and then you can set it up. For the trigger effect, I would recommend that you set it to full haptics, mainly because if you have it at weapon threshold or off, it's not going to let you press down your bumpers all the way down. For some reason, it's going to like pause halfway through, and then it's going to be even tougher to push down depending on the weapon that you're using. So I highly recommend you just put it to full haptics. Now for the next area that we have, this is actually going to be the dead zone settings. Very, very important. This will be one of the most important things that you do. So what you want to do is click on it, and then down here it's going to showcase all the different dead zones. What you want to do is set it first to 0. So put the left stick minimum and then the right stick minimum, put those at 0. Then you want to test the stick dead zone. So turn that on, and then what you want to do is just flick with your stick. So the right stick, I'm flicking with this, and as you see, it goes down, and then once you leave it resting, so I'm no longer touching, it says vertical is at 4%, horizontal is at 1%. So that means it's like drifting a little bit off to the top, and it doesn't land directly in the center. And then you can test it a couple times just to see what the highest number you get is. Then you want to do the same thing to the horizontal or the left side, left stick. And as you see here, this one, it has a little bit more of stick drift going on. So minus 12% is the highest number that I'm seeing when I test this. Now it's minus 13. And then you just keep testing it out, see exactly what the negative is. And then what you want to do is set the number over in the settings. So right here, for the left stick, because that one was up to like 15, I'm going to set it to 15. And then for the right stick, it was only at like 4. I'll put it at 5 just to be safe. And then you want to that'll automatically turn off once you start adjusting that. But for the left stick max, I'll probably set this around to 50. So that way I don't have to go all the way throughout the analog for it to fully activate the sprinting and the movement and all that. And the right stick is just at default to 100. But that's everything you need to know about the dead zone. Now for the aiming, I put the sense multiplier, really I just keep it at 1, except the ADS sensitivity, I set that to 0.75 because I play on a higher sensitivity when I aim in. I want it to be a little bit slower so I can really hit those shots and be a little bit more accurate. Look inversion, I have that at standard. And then target aim assist, obviously keep that on if you're on controller. And yeah, these are like all the settings you need to know in terms of the aiming. And I guess here at the max, this is all at default. So nothing really too crazy, but I'll go ahead showcase that just in case you guys want to see that. But now one thing I noticed about the aiming is it doesn't have the option to set it to Black Ops to default. It just literally says target aim assist on or off. If you go over to the aim assist settings or the advanced settings right here, you have the look inversion, which I just have at standard. The ADS sensitivity transition timing, set that at instant. The aim response curve time, set it to dynamic. That's what all the pros use. It's either dynamic or linear, but dynamic is better. And then the aim response curve slope scale, I have that to 1, but it doesn't give you the option to the type of aim assist that you want. So now it's just either on or off, and just set that to on and then make sure you're at. The next one that we have is going to be the movement. So sprint assist for the movement, I actually have it to tactical sprint. I don't know why it turned that off, but yeah, and then I have it at 0. So we did talk about this movement, but for some reason showing it once again for the controller. And then everything here, I have tap to slide for that on, and then automatic door, all that. It's the same exact settings that we talked about before. And then for the combat, ADS hold, ADS melee grouped, and then equipment behavior hold, manual fire behavior press, and yeah. And then now we jump into the actual graphics. So the graphics is going to highly depend on your PC or console. I would recommend you can put it on full screen exclusive. This will actually save you frames and give you better quality. But if you like to tab out like me, whether you want to jump on like YouTube or something like that while you're playing, you'll need to go for full screen borderless, so that way you're able to tab out. And then just the display monitor, the display adapter, you can, if you set it to exclusive, you can actually adjust the frame rates. I would just put it at your screen refresh rate. Don't really change that, but that's, yeah, this is what I have. So if you're at 144, put it at 144. You're at 120, put it 120. It really depends on what you're at. And then these are the other settings that I have. So low latency, I have that on. If you have VSync, you want to turn this off. Definitely going to make you lag. The VSync menus, you can put that at 100. For the custom frame limit, I have that set to custom, and since I do 244 hertz monitor, I set it just a little bit higher at 250. It doesn't really need to go much higher than what your monitor refresh rate is, so just set it at that. And then the menu, I put it at 120. You could probably put it at like 30 or 60. It's really not important in the menu, but and then these are like the others. Focus mode, I have that at 90, and then high dynamic range, I have it to automatic. For the quality, I would recommend you first put the graphic preset to custom, because you're gonna adjust it. It'll automatically change to custom. Render resolution, keep that at 100. It'll stay directly at whatever monitor that you have and whatever quality that you're at. Dynamic resolution, set that to off, and then yeah, you won't have to touch the other setting. Upscaling, definitely put that at fidelity cast. That's easily the best one that you want to use. VRAM scale target, you could put it either at 90 or 80, depending. If you do get a little bit more lag and hitches, I would put it maybe towards 80. And then you have the variable rate shading, I set that to on. DLS frame regeneration, turned that off. And then you have these other things. So these are the details and textures. Now, if you have a really good PC, you can definitely put higher settings. Remember, this is all based on your performance and the PC that you have. So if you could play on extreme, then you could do that. If you have to play on lower, then probably something like this. So texture resolution, I set that to low. Texture filter, normal, I set this to off. Nearby level of detail, definitely high, so you're aware of everything that you're able to see, and you can see that. And then particle resolution, normal, bullet impacts on. Persistent effect, I have that off. Shader quality, I set that to medium. You can set it to high if you want even better, a better look. But then the on-demand texture streaming, I set that to minimal. It used to give you the option to set that off, but they sort of ruined that. But set it to minimal. This does make a lot of people lag. And then the next settings that we have after that, and then for the local texture streaming quality, set that to low. Then the shadow quality, it's really not important. I mean, seeing the quality of the shadow is like, yeah, it's pretty relevant. So set that to very low. Screen space shadows also low. Screen space ambient lighting off. Screen space reflections off, and then static reflection quality, set that to high. If you did play on MW3, a lot of these should carry on over. So if you have really good settings for MW3, just reuse those same exact ones. But this one right here, water quality, I set it to water caustics rather than water wetness. And then you have these at off, low, and then near. So this is the quality that I have in terms of these settings. And yeah, you can just apply that. But then going to view, I have the view at motion reduction, set that to off, because any motion related thing is going to affect your view, and it's just going to make everything blurry. Then field of view FOV, I set that at 120. You want to see your surroundings as much as possible, so it's like an instant thing to set it at 120. ADS field of view affected. Weapon field of view is wide, and then the vehicle field of view, always set all these to wide and affected. And then the world motion blur, turn that off. You don't want motion blur. It's just going to ruin. If you see someone off to the right while you're turning, I promise you're just not going to see them because it's just going to be so blurry. And then first person camera movement, I set that to the least. And then inverted flashbang, if you don't want to go blind from flashbangs, set that to on. It'll turn it black instead of the original white flashbang. So that way it doesn't like just blind you. But anyways, going on to the audio quality, I have the master gain volume at 70 because it's a little bit loud on my end, and then everything else, these are the settings. Everything once again here is going to be preference. For the headphones, I would recommend you put headphones, either put PC speaker, headphones, bass boost, or home theater. I've heard these are the best ones. I'm probably going to put it right there at headphone bass boost. If you're wearing a headset, default, and then speaker, you can set that to whatever, and then mono, turn that off, or else you're not going to be able to hear the surround sound. It's going to merge all the audio. And then mute game when minimized, that's just preference. And then hit marker preset, I have that to default. And then reduce, whatever that is, I set that to off. And then for voice chat, that's just all preference as well. I set it to 32. There's a lot of people who are super loud on the mic. And then proximity chat, turn that on if you want an experience, a good one. And then voice chat, last words voice chat, I have that on. And these are the settings that I have in terms of the audio. Now for the interface, these are the settings that I'm using. So the menu prompt is at automatic. Gameplay tips, I have that on. If you already know exactly what you're doing, just turn that off. You don't need that. Tutorial, that can also be on. It's usually just going to be in the very beginning. Once you start leveling up, it turns off by itself. So if you want to learn a little bit about the game, you can have that on as well. Skip introduction movie, I have that to off. I just want to see that. Skip kill cams, I like to see those as well. Tooltips, you can have that on, or you can turn it off as well. Telemetry, I have these all off. So you can see like the FPS counter, all that. You can turn on the FPS counter. See, I have it at the top. You can see that it's at 120, and then it says changing FPS counter telemetry to custom. And then, yeah, so you can put all on, all off, or just adjust which ones you want to see. And yeah, so anyways, going on to the next one, you got default. I have these at off and on. Readability, support, I have that off. Default subtitles, so I can see exactly what they're saying. And then, yeah, so these are just all preference based. Nothing really impacts the quality of the game or anything like that. For the player names though, set that to full name, but this is just in the HUD. Now for the mini map, you can set it to whatever you want, and there's actually HUD presets. So if you go to the HUD area, you have the standard version, which this is what it looks like. You have the inverted, which just flips the mini map. You have the classic, so it showcases these areas and all the different spots. So this is all just depending on what you prefer, how you like how it looks. Do you want it in the bottom? Do you want it at the top? Do you want it to the right? Do you want it to the left? Do you want the mini map right at the center of your screen? It's really all preference based. Pick the one that you like the best. I'm usually just standard. I mean, I'm simple, so I just keep it as standard. Maybe over on the right side with inverted. That's something you could do that. Now for the colors, I definitely recommend that you change mainly the enemy. So you go to the enemy, you click on that. For the saturation and brightness, just turn that all the way up to the end. I believe by default, it's like set somewhere like in the middle. For like the brightness, it's like somewhere like this, so they won't really appear and they're not as easy to spot. So you want to max that all the way to the top, and the saturation all the way so it's super bright, and when you see an enemy run by, you'll automatically know that is an enemy. As for teammates, not really too important, so you don't really have to worry about that one too much. Color filter, I have it at filter 2. You can change it to whatever you want. I put it at filter 2. Color filter target, I have it to set to both, so both world and the interface. And then for the other things, I guess that, yeah, that's pretty much it right there. And then world color intensity at 100, interface color intensity at 100. So that way, for those of you guys who want to see like the saturation and all that good stuff, the bright colors, that's how I'm getting some of these bright colors, along with the NVIDIA little saturation thing. But anyways, going down right here, you can actually adjust these to another way. So if the HUD presets are not to your liking, you can adjust them and you can change them. So minimap, you can have it to square if you want, or round. I prefer round. If you want minimap rotation, you can set that to on. Radar, you can have that on or off. It toggles the minimap radar backing. And then the compass, you can set that to minimap. Vehicle HUD prompt, fade after 10 seconds. In-game text, you can have that on. Player names, I always put full name. If you put like the abbreviated or the icons only, they may be very hard to spot, so definitely keep that. Hit marker visuals, keep that on, and damage-based hit markers, keep that on. But these are all the settings that you need to know in regards to Black Ops 6. Majority of them will carry over from MW3, but these are my personal settings. Give them a test. Let me know what you guys think and if you guys prefer these. But anyways, if there's anything else you guys want to see, let me know here on the channel and I'll post that for you guys. But it's been your boy Tridzo, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys again. Peace.